You're locked into Hits 92.3. The views, stories, and opinions shared on this program belong solely to the host and their guests. They do not represent the views of Hits 92.3 Radio, management, staff, partners, advertisers, parent companies, or affiliates. And if you don't know what any of that means, listener discretion is advised. Now sit back, turn up your volumes, and enjoy the content from one of the greatest, dopest radio personalities to ever touch this microphone in 3, 2, 1.
Where elevation is the expectation. Now, listen, everybody wants a better life. Everybody wants more money, more peace, more success. But very few people stop and ask, am I built for this? Because you don't just stumble on greatness, you build on the greatness. And today, we're not just talking about success, we're about to build the structure for success. So, we're talking about building your life just like a house, from the foundation of faith all the way to the pillars that hold it up. Now, if you were able to tune in last week, that's exactly what we're talking about. What your house is really built of, where we talked about the foundation, which is the most important part of the house, the strongest part of the house. So I like to build my foundation on God, right? That's God and faith. And the pillars, that build up, that hold up the house, that's your identity, that's your discipline and dedication and things of that nature. And on the roof at the top of it, you have your vision. So we broke down all of those things and what that means for a person. So now what's going on today? We about to get into the inside of the house, okay? So the inside of the house a lot of times is a little bit more private. So that's where nobody's watching, right? So we talked about, last week, just we talked about the yard and how you build wealth from the seeds that you plant. Because I want to share this with you. The truth is, you can look successful on the outside and still be collapsing on the inside. And a lot of times when things collapse on the inside, it's because of your foundation. So that's why we're here talking about this thing, to help get you a stronger foundation, because elevation is the expectation on this show. If you're not getting smarter, wiser, better after listening to this show, then I failed you. So I'm giving you game stuff and principles that I've learned along the way that's made me a better man. And I hope that it does the same for you, make you a better man or woman. Let me pull out my bling right here because I'm on camera. Let me bling blow right quick. Now, so today we're fixing all of these things. Let's talk about the house and everything that's inside of a house. Most of y'all know what's in a house. You got different rooms, right? You got a basement, you got a closet. Some of y'all like to be up in there. I don't know why. I'm sure it's praying, right? It's a prayer closet. Many different rooms, bathrooms, living rooms. Let's get into the living room of your house, because the living room is really where all things come together. So the living room represents your mindset and what you entertain, and also who you entertain. Okay. So thoughts. I knew my phone was gonna start going off. So it's all about who you entertain, right? So you got to be very mindful of that. So what thoughts are you allowing in your mind daily? So don't you know that you're the sum of all of your thoughts? Now, if you're on the right vibration, then you're on the right mental habitation. So let's get into this. Let's get into this real quick. The living room is where everybody comes in and gathers, where you watch TV at, right? Where you do things together, and you have to be mindful of who you allow in your living room, because a lot of people will come there and just watch TV, eat up all your food, and live rent free. And really, the analogy there is a lot of times we allow people to live rent free in our mind. Okay. So we have to be very careful about who we allow inside and spend time with and spend living time with. We have to be very mindful. So the next part I really want to get into, you got to understand that a lot of times if your living room is cluttered, your life will feel crowded. So that means it's not for everybody, just for specific people, mainly your family and loved ones. And that way that you can have a clear mind. Now, I also want to share one of my health mentors, Dr. Sabi. Now, he always talks about eating to live, right? He will question, why do we put dead things into a living body? Because our bodies are electrical, right? Which brings me to one of the most important rooms in the house, and I'm gonna spend some serious time talking about, which is the kitchen. Now, I'm in real estate, so I know the importance of a kitchen. The kitchen, and y'all know, women won't even buy a house if the kitchen ain't right. Right? It has to be on point. And even if you decide to put money into the kitchen and build up that kitchen and renovate it and make it better, that is a room that can actually add value to the house. It can become more of an asset. So that's something that we have to really think about, the importance of a kitchen. So our body, it is a house. So let's go into the inside as we're in the kitchen of our internal house, right? The kitchen deals with what you consume and what you're talking about. This is about your mental and physical diet. So again, the kitchen deals with what you consume and your mental and physical diet. So let's look at this. A kitchen is where everything is prepared, but more importantly, it fuels the entire house. And here's the truth: you can't live a powerful life on a weak diet. You just can't. The reality is that studies show that individuals who are overweight, they can lose anywhere from 5 to 10 years of their life expectancy compared to those who are healthy weight. And for more severe causes, that number can go even higher, up to 15, 20 years. And it's one of the reasons that our people have a lower life expectancy. Sometimes we, men, we get out of here at 65, you right? And that's still a young age. But let's be clear, it isn't just about weight, it's about your discipline and what you constantly consume. You see, if you walked into a multi-million-dollar home, but the kitchen was filled with spoiled food and junk food in the pantry, and the caterers, when they served you meals, it was only McDonald's, Wendy's, and Checkers, right? And let's say if you lived in that house for a year, eventually your body or that house will start to break down. The energy would drop. And since your body is a house, that means that the structure will weaken. Now, not because the house wasn't built well, because everything God creates, He does it masterfully, right? He does it well, but it's because it wasn't fed properly. Remember, the food is our life force energy. Now, Corinthians 10, verse 31 says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it in the glory of God. Also, First Corinthians 6:19 to 20 says, do you not know that your bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit? Therefore, honor God with your bodies. So that means we can't just be eating everything, right? We can't just put everything in our mouths, right? We have to understand that certain things are really not good for us. And because we are the body of Christ, we have to respect it. We have to take care of this temple, right? If you really want the Holy Spirit to remain within you, because it loves to be around clean things, it loves order and structure. So if your body isn't clean on the inside, don't expect it to dwell around you long. So just keep that in mind. So let me say this: it's a reasonable sacrifice, y'all, to be mindful about what you eat. We have no discipline when we see these fast food commercials and all that melted cheese looking good, and you can just smell it through the TV, right? You want to run to McDonald's or run to the store and buy it right then, right? But see, the word says that man cannot live off bread alone. You understand that? The word says that your bodies are temples for the Holy Spirit. Now, how dare you not honor that? So, this means that what you consume is not just physical, it is also spiritual and it's mental too. Because a lot of things we eat controls our minds because it controls our cravings, right? And depending on what you think and what you believe, a lot of people believe that, we eat certain foods that have parasites. And it's these parasites that get inside of us, right? And that control our cravings for sugar and all the things. But things that are bitter will run the parasites out, right? But things that are sweet, that's what it feeds on. And those control our mental habits. So what you allow to come through your kitchen, right, of your house can build up your house or it can destroy the structure of your house. Now, you know that God's temple and God's spirit dwells in you. So if anyone destroys God's temple, then God will destroy that person. And that's First Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16 through 17. And I ain't trying to be all preachy. I'm not trying to be all holy, but food is the one thing that we overconsume that slowly kills us. A lot of this food is not even real anymore, y'all. It is denatured, right? So they're doing a lot of things, adding a lot of chemicals to the food. Look at your grocery store. Just look at the eggs. What it say on the box? Stays fresher longer. Well, how's way? How's it staying fresher longer? Because they're adding chemicals and doing different things or hormones. So this thing gets really, really deep. Now, let me be very clear about what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you should starve yourself. See, this is about extremes because research shows that even underweight people can have a shortened lifespan. So this isn't about eating less. It's about eating with discipline. You see, the truth is your body reflects your habits. That's why you can tell an athlete, right? An athlete, a track runner looks like a track runner by the leanness of their body, right? A sumo wrestler looks like a sumo wrestler because he's heavy, right? So your body really reflects your habits. So if you're eating fast food every day, you're not eating healthy, it will definitely reflect in your body type. Overconsumption leads to breakdown. Undernourishment leads to weakness. Discipline leads to longevity. That's the difference of it. If you're disciplined with what you eat and how you eat, it will lead to longer days in your life. And I know this. I feel like that's one of the secrets that I tapped into as far as longevity. So I practice intermittent fasting. So when I wake up in the morning, after prayer and meditation, I don't eat a thing for breakfast. I don't eat anything until 12 noon, right? And not eating anything until 12 noon, when I do eat, that gives my body time to process the meal that I ate last night or the day before. Because a lot of times, because this food is the way it is, it's processed food, it's not real, it takes a very long time to digest in our body. So we got to give it ample amount of time instead of just waking up in the morning and our food is still digestion and we throw another meal on top of that. And then we mix up so many different food types, it takes longer to process and digest. Then it just sits in our body and waste builds up in our colon. And we really got to take care of our house. So I eat when the sun is at its highest energy, right? At 12 noon. And I stop eating at 8 p.m. when the sun is setting, when it's at its lowest energy. So I kind of eat with the sun, right? So I'm very mindful about that and give my body time to repair and do what it needs. This is why discipline leads to longevity. Now, what you eat physically affects how you think mentally. Facts, right? You got to remember this. Think about this. Food it has DNA in it, especially meat, right? And you got to think a lot of times we're eating things that have been slaughtered, right? And you wonder why we act all wild sometimes. Maybe you're eating some of that mad cow. And I'm not saying I don't eat a hamburger and stuff like that. I'm not saying that, but I'm mindful of how much I eat because I understand that ground beef will live into your body for up to 3 and 4 days before it's fully digested. I understand that pork can live in your body from 9 to 14 days at a time. That's why people don't touch it. Some people don't eat it. And some people don't eat it because of what the pig eats. The pig will eat anything and everything. And then you're consuming that, right? So a lot of times we don't know what our food is eating or what our food is being fed before it is fed to us. That's why we have to be very careful. So, what you consume mentally affects how you live spiritually. The spirit world and the physical world a lot of time go hand in hand, but when things happen in the spirit world first and they play out in the physical. So be mindful of what you eat because it definitely affects everything. So you are listening to the King Raphael Show, where elevation is the expectation. We're discussing part 2 of what your house is really built on. We'll come back in a moment.
Hey, the secret's out. Hits 92.3 is now accepting submissions for brand new shows. That's right, you could become a radio personality right here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. You don't have experience? That's okay. You don't live in Georgia? That's okay. You don't know what to do now? Now that's not okay. But your girl is here to help you out. Email us today at hits923newshow@gmail.com and tell us about your potential show with Hits. Again, that email address is hits923newshow@gmail.com. Don't be last. The slots are filling fast.
Hey, have you ever been at work on a Monday morning behind your desk wondering, what am I doing with my life? Well, I wanted that same question as well. So what I did was I created a business around the lifestyle that I truly wanted. And for me, that's really about travel. So I wanted to make the beach my office, and that's exactly what I did. I can work from anywhere around the world with my customizable Airbnb business. So let me show you how to do it for yourself. So let me help you create an Airbnb business that will sustain you for the rest of your life and sustain your children, right? Let me show you how to automate your business so that it's on cruise control. Let me show you how to fly under the radar if you need. I can also teach you how to get Airbnb properties with no money down. Yes, no money down. See, many people don't think that they can get in business because they don't think that they have the funds. But you really don't need it. What's more important is the information. So join the workshop. I have a team of super hosts that will be right there that will help you start your listing the same day. Now that's powerful. All right, so we're giving out the information. So come to the workshop, click the link below, or DM me, and I can provide you all the information. Hey, everybody, kings and queens, welcome back to the King Raphael Show, where elevation is the expectation. Now, if you would like to listen up or come in to our next mastermind courses where we're discussing Airbnb, that's one of the things that I do, y'all. I'm real big on real estate. They actually call me affectionately the Airbnb King. So you can come and join and we'll get your listing up and running. We'll show you how to make money. I'll teach you about rental arbitrage, how to get properties on your own without even owning properties. Okay, so if you're interested, feel free to reach out at the King Raphael Show at gmail.com. That's the King Raphael, that's RAPHAEL show at gmail.com. Now we're discussing what your house is really built on. Okay, so we were talking about the kitchen, how the kitchen has, that's your life, y'all. Whatever you cooking up, y'all, is what you serving out. Now we got to go into something, that's another room that's really important in our lives, y'all. The bedroom. Right? Now, the bedroom is where energy is restored or depleted. So let's go a little bit deeper into this house. Let's step into the bedroom, shall we? I need some R&B music for this one. No, I'm just playing. Because most people think the bedroom is all about performance. Well, a lot of times it is, right? I get that, right? But the truth is, the bedroom was truly designed for your recovery, okay? And the problem is, we misuse a space that's designed for restoration, and it starts to drain you instead of build you. You see, every decision you make in private affects how you show up in public. Your energy is real. Your focus is real. Your clarity is real. And you can lose those things when you don't get a good night's sleep. Anybody woke up in the morning and just went to work and just didn't have it all because they stayed up all night, right? And they can't even hardly remember their name. Forget passwords, trying to, what's my banking code? Just forget the basic things. A lot of times your brain does not work the best if it does not get the proper amount of rest. So you got to get that, y'all. You got to build up yourself. Even if during the day you take a micro nap, I promise you, especially when you get older, right? The little 15 minutes be helping you. They help get you through your day. A lot of times you have to think about the brain as a supercomputer. And we have a lot of apps running on our brain. We have so much going on with life. We have so much going on with our children, right? Maybe you just got a speeding ticket that day. That's on your mind, right? So it's just so much that is going on. And later, and during as the day goes on, you have all these programs running. And what we don't do is shut them down. And this is what a good power nap does for you. A good power nap resets your brain. It gives you a reset. So then you can wake up refreshed, recharged, and ready to get back at it. So always remember, y'all, I'm telling you to take time for your mental health and just take a nap. And even if you have to do that during the middle of the day, it is okay. You're not old. Trust me. You can do that. It's all good. So a lot of times the reason why I say that because we constantly give ourselves and we don't be replenished in return. And we do it without discipline. See, may not feel it immediately, but over time, constantly doing for everybody else besides yourself will drain you. I promise you. And these are some of the things that age you in this life. You understand? You wonder why people have wrinkles and looking old. It's because they're stressed out and because they're not getting the proper amount of rest required for their body. Now, some people need less than others, but we all need rest, especially from the chaos and stress of this world, because there's a lot going on. You see, the truth is that a lack of sleep lowers your energy, your testosterone, and your focus. Now, emotionally, instability often comes from a lack of rest plus poor boundaries. And what do I mean when I say a poor boundary? That means like you're staying up all night. You don't have a boundary time on when you start getting ready for bed. It's just, oh, when I feel sleepy, right? You're not setting your boundaries. One of the things that you can do as a key to success so that you can wake up your best is plan your day the night before. Simple things. Figure out what you're going to wear. Iron your clothes the night before, right? Look at your schedule. Figure out what you have to do. And if you need to get something or prepare something, prepare it that night. Plan. That's one of the secrets of the millionaires, y'all. Planning your day the night before. So then when you wake up in the morning, you can meditate on it. You visualize on your day. You see your day, how your day is supposed to go and how you want it to go. It's a mental exercise. So that way you create your day. I know in my world, I don't have a bad day. I'm not saying bad things don't happen, but it's a mentality. I don't have bad days. And I visualize my day. And in my visualization, I don't visualize nothing bad happening in that day. It's all positive. It's all good things that are going to happen that day. So that's why it is very important, y'all. I'm going to tell you, sleep and meditation run hand in hand. Very important. So a lack of sleep, your brain is usually overstimulated and it reproduces clarity. So when you don't get sleep, a lot of times because your mind is just running, a lot of times you ever been with somebody who has a restless mind or they toss and turn trying to go to sleep? It's because they've been mentally overstimulated. And a lot of times, a lot of us, what we do is we're watching TV all night. We're watching TV before we even go to sleep, right? So a lot of those images and visions of what we saw before we go to sleep are still running in your mind because you have not shut it down. Remember, your brain is like a computer. But the problem is, many of us have lost our mouse. We can't find the keyboard, right? So we can't shut it down. So we really got to get it together and have some discipline and take control back over our lives. Strong people protect their energy, not just their time. You protect it. And these are ways to protect it. Now, can we get real for a second? I see my viewers saying, yeah, can we talk about something real? When you're constantly connecting with multiple people in your bedroom, it's not just physical, it's emotional, it's mental, and it's spiritual. It's one of the most spiritual things that you can do. But see, this world tricks you. It makes you think that casual encounters are nothing more but just casual. It didn't mean nothing. Oh, it meant something. You made an agreement in the spirit world, whether you know it or not. Right. And on top of that, you've opened yourself up. You've opened yourself up not only to STDs, which are sexually transmitted diseases, but also to sexually transmitted demons. Yeah, it's that kind of show. So we going there. We talking about stuff like that, right? People don't think about those things. People don't think about who they sleep with. What about their lineage? What about their roots? What about their bloodline? What's going on in their bloodline that you're about to connect yourself with? Because I remember somewhere in the Bible said, I'm just paraphrasing here, but it was saying, woman, you've had 6 husbands. You're like, how? All the people you slept with. Basically, everybody you lay with, you connect with, right? And I'm not saying I'm not perfect because I'm sure haven't been, right? But I'm starting to learn things at a new level and a new expectation. And when you learn more, you do better, right? So some of us are actually sleeping with energy vampires right in our bedroom and don't even know it. And it's the cause of why your mind is becoming scattered, right? And somewhere I read that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You wonder why? Because you're having flashbacks of the night before, or what you done did, or how y'all turned up, right? So let me tell you something. The truth is, discipline in the bedroom builds discipline in life. Why is that? Because how you do anything is how you do everything for the most part. So you gotta have discipline in the bedroom, fellas. We gotta have some mushroom tip control. A lot of us had never been taught that. So when we're young, we just throw it everywhere. But that ain't the move. My queens, you already know. I ain't even gotta tell you nothing. So because of how you do everything, how you do anything is how you do everything. The truth is that temporary pleasure can cause long-term clarity. It can cost you your long-term clarity. Anybody had a baby with somebody that they shouldn't have had a baby with? Or I'm not saying that children are an accident. That's not what I'm saying. But anybody have had a baby with somebody who have disrupted your peace, has caused chaos in your life? I see some people shaking their heads. Yeah, right. Because you're just throwing it around to anybody, not taking time to get to know the person, not realizing that people change just like the seasons, right? That's why you got to be battle tested and ready, and you got to take your time and go with every season with that person. You need to see how they act in winter, right? You need to see when it gets cold how they gonna treat you. You need to know these things, y'all. Because the real love, let me tell you something. A lifetime of romance is to love yourself. And loving yourself is being very cautious about who you decide to bring in your bedroom, right? Because it's a spiritual thing. And many of us are not taught that. So the truth is, many of us are not willing to pay what it truly costs. Many times, y'all, laying in bed with the wrong person can cost you a lot. And it's something that we don't want to pay. Many of us are paying child support, 18 years of child support, right? I know I'm on it, but it's all good. It's an honor to be on it. It's an honor. It's an honor, honestly. But it's all good. You gotta love your children the best that you can. There are no mistakes. Sometimes we do things that we didn't think all the way through, but when you learn better, we gotta do better. And that's what this show is all about. So let me go into this, y'all. We gotta focus. We gotta really focus. Focus grows when distractions cease. This is why I tell my brother sometimes you got to separate yourself. I ain't saying break up, but you got to go in a quiet place. When you separate yourself from being with somebody intimate that who you've been with on a regular, when you separate yourself, what it does is it opens up your discernment. It gives your mind clarity. Now you can see what you couldn't see before because you were caught up in that web. All right. And that's the same for women. Strong men and women don't just protect their body, they protect their energy and their peace of mind. You always got to remember that, y'all. Protect yourselves out here. Okay. And on that, y'all, we're going to take a break. Yo, you're listening to the King Raphael Show, and we're talking about how to build your house from the ground up. Okay. Hi, I'm Professor G, the Airbnb King. When I first started my Airbnb business in 2019, I made a lot of mistakes. I really needed a mentor, but one mistake I didn't make was giving up. And since I didn't give up, 18 months later, I cleared my first six-figure income, which allowed me to quit my lucrative job as being a college professor at Spelman College and do this full time. And I never looked back. Since then, I've acquired properties in Atlanta, like such as downtown, midtown, Buckhead, even moved over to the West End, became the Airbnb king, got more confidence, started buying properties in Miami. Ever since then, I knew skies was the limit and Monopoly was the game for me. So believe in yourself. You will and you can win at this game. Book with the Airbnb king. We're going to make some solid moves, but loud results. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the King Raphael Show. We're talking about protecting your energy in your bedroom as we build up your house. Yo, you got to protect your energy like you protect your future because how you live in private determines how you lead in public. And a lot of times, as we watch TV and we see people's public figures, how their private lives is the thing that really takes them under, right? I can name so many examples. One of the things that I think about, I just shake my head. The University of Michigan coach, when you think about him, how his private life, he had it all, $1 million, multi-million dollar contract, everything. And he let his private life make him a public failure when he was popping in public until everything came out in private. See, what's done in the dark will always come to the light. So that's why you got to protect your reputation and you have to protect your energy like you protect your future, because how you live in private will determine how you lead in public. And a lot of times we move a certain way because we don't have any principles, or our parents never taught us anything, or maybe we didn't go to the right church. I don't, or maybe we got friends around us who we are following, right? Who we're trying to emulate them. A lot of times, I know when I was young, that's what I was doing, following my friends. I thought some of the dumb stuff I was doing was cool, but I didn't know. I didn't know any better. I didn't know the connections I was making in the spirit world, right? I didn't know those things. So if your life is a house, let me ask you, is your bedroom restoring you or is it draining you? I'm telling you this and I'm asking you this because we must understand. You don't just build strength in what you do, you also build strength in what you refuse. You caught that? You don't just build strength in what you do, you build it in what you refuse. Now, imagine that you've built a beautiful house, right? Strong foundation, your pillars are solid, and everything's in place. But every night before you go to sleep, you make a decision to lock your door. I know I do. Most people do that, right? You go out and lock your door. Not because something is already inside, but because you understand that everything doesn't deserve access in. Now, the lock doesn't weaken the house, it strengthens it. And that's how discipline works. You don't become strong by what you allow in, you become strong by what you keep out. Y'all get that? All right. Hopefully y'all that processes a little bit. So now you got to ask yourself, since your life is a house, what does my life, or what does my house really look like? The house you build is the house that you have to live in. And let me say it like this. One day, it's going to come a time where you're going to have to stand on everything that you built. Yeah, your house may look good on the outside, but is there cracks in the foundation? What does the inside look like? How does your private life look? Because one day you will be Exposed. One day you're going to get caught with your blinds up, right? So it's always best to move in integrity, right? And have integrity about everything that you do, y'all. I'm telling you, because whatever's done in the dark will come to the light, and whatever you put inside will reflect on the outside, because those are the things that become you. So, did you know that every 35 days your body creates new skin cells? Yep, it sure does. So your body uses the food that you eat to become skin cells. So you literally are what you eat. That scab, that's coming from protein. Y'all get it? So when you cut yourself and you get that scab, that's coming from the proteins that you eat. So if you eating McDonald's all the time, you probably got a McScab, right? But I'm just playing. But the truth is, you are what you eat. Another thing, you are the sum of everything that you do every day. Did y'all catch that principle? You are the sum of everything that you do every single day. So be mindful of what you do, right? Because there's somebody somewhere watching you. Not only is God watching, but somebody's watching you. Your children are watching, right? Your family is watching. Your friends are watching just to see how you move. How do you move when it's a storm? Because I promise you one will come in your life one day. How do you behave? How do you react? Right? You are the sum of what you do every single day. Like, if you don't cook every day, you're not a cook, right? You're not a skater if you don't skate. You're not a rapper if you don't rap. And you're not a gun if you don't clap. You're not a human if you don't bleed. And you're not a leader if you don't lead. Bars, right? So the question is, how are you living your life? Because I promise you, the life you lead will always lead you. Will always lead you. This is why you are a direct result of all your thoughts and all your choices in this life. So, as we talk about the internal kitchen of your house, watch your thoughts. Watch what you're cooking up, right? Because it's your thoughts that become your words. Watch your words because it's your words that become your actions. Watch your actions because it's your actions that become your character. Let's pause. Let's pause right there. It's your actions that become your character. The things that you do every day become a part of not only who you are, but it becomes a part of your reputation. You see, your real reputation is not what you think about yourself. Your true reputation is what people say about you when you are not in the room. That's your reputation. And a lot of times we get our reputation from our character, right? And character needs to be strong. Your character needs to be rooted on something. They always say if you don't stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. And I talked about last week how a tree, how its roots dig deep into the ground, right? And the strength of the tree is not because it's wood or it's in the ground, it's because of the depth of the roots. So when a storm comes, it doesn't blow over because its roots are deep. And that's how your character has to be. Your character has to be as strong as your roots. If not, you will go for anything. You don't believe me? Ask some brothers that's in prison. Ask them. They'll tell you they didn't have the character. They didn't have the morals, the values that they've learned now, right? That's why many of us, y'all, have to be very careful of who you allow in your living room, sitting next to you, watching TV with you. And I'm talking about the living room of your mind, right? Everybody not supposed to be around your space and your energy because a lot of people influence us. So if you want people to influence you, you want good people around you who have great moral character. They always say that you're the sum of your closest five friends around you, right? And if you're the smartest one in the room or out of them, you're in the wrong room or you're in the wrong friend group, right? Your character is important because your reputation will precede you. I'll share a story. I'll share a story with you. One I know for me and people that know me and know me for a long time, they know that I pull up late. It's just a part of what's been in my DNA for a long time. I pull up late, and I've been teaching. During my teaching career, I started at Spelman College, and I've been teaching for 10 years. Taught there for 10 years, and while I was there, a couple of years in, I also picked up an adjunct position at Westwood College, right? And I was teaching at their main campus in Midtown. Now, teaching at their main campus, I did my thing there. I love to teach. I love to educate students, right? Now, so they had a second campus across town, and I ended up getting a job interview for it. Man, I think I turned up that night, went out. I came in that job interview 2 hours late. I didn't call nothing. I just almost didn't want to show up, but I showed up to the job interview anyway. Y'all think I got that job? Heck yeah, I got that job. Why I got that job? Because my reputation preceded me. It was my character. I didn't even have an excuse on why I showed up late. They asked me why I showed up late. I said no excuse. That's exactly what I told them. I'm talking about 2 hours late. I'm not talking about 15 minutes late. That's why your character is so important. See, they got the word from my dean on what type of professor I was. So your reputation will precede you. That's why your character is very important. So protect your character and your reputation like you protect your future. Okay? Also, you got to watch your character, because your character becomes your destiny. It becomes who you are in this life. It becomes how people know you in this life. Because if you're a player, fellas, and you've been a player for a long time, that's going to end up being your destiny, being single and being a player. All right. So it's a lot of things in this life that we have to be very, very mindful of. So, who's in your living room, right, of your house? Who's in your kitchen, right? Serving you up. What are they cooking? And what are they serving? Right? What are you cooking and what are you serving? Because everything you do becomes you, right? You have to stand guard in the doorway of your mind, so that you can allow the best quality ingredients into your kitchen. You can allow the best quality people into your living room, right? That's why everything that you think, everything that you eat becomes you. So make sure that you watch closely to everything you see on TV, like fast food commercials, right? That take you out of your kitchen and put you into their kitchen. Pause. Think about that, y'all. Every day, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans eat out. And I'm not saying nothing's wrong with eating out, but you're not eating in your own kitchen. So that means that you didn't put the love into the food. That also means you don't know who prepared your food. You don't know how they handled your food. You don't know if they sneezed and said bless you and then passed it out. You don't know these things. So it is detrimental if you're eating out all the time, y'all. So that's why the kitchen is one of the most important rooms of your internal house, y'all. What about if you eating clone meat, right? How you know? We don't know what we're getting these days, right? So we have to be very, very mindful. And you know what? Let me tell you this. A lot of the food is not real. I'm just gonna tell y'all this. A lot of it's not real, y'all. So they're serving you a lot of denatured food and it becomes you. Let me give you an example. A lot of time you can't even find grapes with seeds in it these days. So if you can't find grapes with seeds in it, what do you think it's doing to your reproductive system, right? Things without seeds that can't reproduce itself are not natural. So this is why I'm telling y'all this, y'all, because I wanted to make it a point. This is why you have to really speak over everything. You have to pray over everything, and you speak things into existence until you see it. Until you see it, because everything becomes you. You got to watch who and what you allow inside. You know what I'm saying? You even got to watch what you smoking on and choking on. Let's go there. Because that becomes you. It becomes what you do every day, right? And it can slow you down. It can take your time away from you. Those things become you. You also got to watch who you stroke on and poke on. Yeah, I said it. because it becomes you. It becomes who you are. It becomes a part of your character, right? And when you're calling the fellas at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, she know what you're calling for, right? She know what you want. It becomes a part of you, right? So you better be mindful of who you pretend to be, because who you pretend to be is who you will become, and you will forget the person who you are and become who you're pretending to be. Those things become you. So this is why, as we talk about your house, y'all, your mental and your physical are running hand in hand. And it's very important to be mindful of what you consume. And when I say consume, what you allow yourself to see. So guard your eye gates. What you allow yourself to hear. So guard your ear gates. Right. And that's why music is a powerful thing, y'all. Music is one of those things that just comes in. You really don't have a filter on it unless you're just saying, hey, I'm just listening to instrumentals, right? Or I'm just listening to classical. We allow whatever they say to come in to our spirit, and there's no filter over it. So you have to be very, very careful, y'all. So let me tell y'all this. The truth is, this is the real truth. When you come into this world, you look like your parents. But when you die, you look like your decisions. Why? Because they become you. Okay? So be mindful. And let me leave you with this, y'all. Everybody wants the crown, but nobody talks about the construction, what it really takes. Everybody wants the harvest, but nobody want to plant the seeds. Everybody wants peace, but they won't even bring peace into their own home and clean out the things that's disturbing their peace, such as winds of chaos. Because when the storm comes, and I keep telling y'all that it will come, it's not your money that's going to save you. It's not your flowers. It's not your image. It's your foundation, what you're standing on, what you're built on, right? It's what you build in private that's going to save you publicly. You see, it's the doors you close. It's all about the doors that you close, y'all. The things that you refused. The discipline you kept when nobody was watching. So build your life like a house. Lay the foundation that's deep. Stand on pillars that's strong. Clean up what's inside, y'all. Remove a lot of those things you know you shouldn't be doing, or the things that your mama prayed that you wouldn't do no more. Plant seeds in your yard that'll grow and produce fruit. Protect your energy. Guard your space. Not everybody belongs in it. And one day, you won't just have a life, but you'll have a kingdom. And the kingdom is built on discipline, purpose, and truth that cannot be shaken. I promise you. You're listening to the King Raphael Show. And remember, y'all, to keep your faith higher than your fear and your purpose stronger than your pain. Until next time we elevate again, I'm King Raphael, and I'm saying stay blessed and stay smooth, y'all. Much love.